Hey guys, Chris here. I'm here with my new good friend here, Patrick Gilkney. We're going to be going over the college football early slate, some late slate action, and yeah, you want to introduce yourself real quick to my audience?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Pat, better known as DFS Wiz P. I don't know if you guys caught my podcast on the NFL last night, but I'm super excited to be here today with Chris, guys. He is one of my go-to pieces of information on college football. I like to soak up information wherever I can get it. I'm not biased where it comes from, and Chris really knows his stuff, and I've enjoyed talking to him here lately. So I'm excited to do this.
I appreciate the appraisal there. But yeah, let's talk about Patrick, man. This guy knows his stuff, guys. If you guys need to know anything, like this is the guy right here. But let's get into the early slate for week one or week two FanDuel for the early slate, and let's look at quarterback first. And I want to talk about my go-to guy who I think I'm rolling with and everything. My boy Fronapple going against the Buffs. I think he's gonna tear them up, man. They pass the ball a lot. It's a typical spread team going against the Buffs, and oh my God, man, the Buffs last year were horrible. This year they don't look that much better. So, man, I love Fronapple week one for quarterback.
I'm right there with you, man. I wish, like I said before we started, that FanDuel wasn't broken because I can't remember his price. Is he like 7.6K?
Yeah, 7, 9. Yeah, I got the prices here just in case you need somebody pulled up. But yeah,
6, 7, 9. Yeah,
7.6K, man, really good value.
I was hoping you would have saved him for last because he's my favorite too.
Oh shit, my bad.
No, you're cool, man. But yeah, like you said, there's a lot to like about quarterback in the early slate. I wish some of these guys were going in the late because it's thin. The quarterback's thin in the late slate on Saturday, but. As far as price and matchup, we talk about it in baseball. We talk about it in any sports and daily fantasy. Price versus matchup and expected points per dollar. I don't think you're going to get better than Fronapple this week. And when we get to wide receivers, we'll talk about because there's somebody there I like in this game. But this is one of the games that you're going to want to target, man. It's got one of the highest over-unders. I think it's second behind the Rutgers Washington State game as far as highest over-unders in the early game. So you're going to want something out of that. And that brings me to my one of my favorite QB plays, although he is a little bit more pricey. I think he's 8,100, but it's Falk for the Cougars, Washington State.
Okay.
I think because his price is still high and he kind of shat the bed last week. A lot of people are going to be off him. But I did some research before we got started, and the Rutgers secondary has a lot of guys out, injured and suspended. They lost a lot of guys from last year, and I think that he's just going to go in there and just tear them apart.
Yeah, I always like looking at those Washington State guys just because they pass the ball so freaking much, man. It's ridiculous. Rutgers last year was actually pretty good against the pass, but I didn't see that report. I didn't see the report on them being injured. So if they are, I mean, yeah, I love Falk right there, 8,900. He's gonna pass the ball like 50 times. Like, yeah, I could dig Falk at 8,900. What's it called? I wanted to talk about if I could just find him. Where is he at? If I could just find his. I don't really like any of the cheaper quarterbacks. I feel like you kind of have to pay up here. Like, well, not pay up, but at least from Fronapple up. I feel like you just kind of have to pay up at the quarterback position. My probably, like, if I could spend as much money as I could, I'd probably go Cardale Jones just because I feel like he'll rack up Hawaii, even though it's a blowout. I feel like he'll for sure get like 35 points against them.
Absolutely, running, passing. He could combine for 2 to 4 touchdowns, running and passing. I love that guy. He's fun to watch, and that's probably my that's my third game to target here in the early slate is the Hawaii game.
Man, they're gonna destroy them.
That's the only thing is in a cash game, that's you're kind of taking the risk there with the blowout. I don't know what their tendencies are is sitting their starters in the second half. You're right. They're going to destroy them. But those outside the UMass and the Washington State Rutgers game, that's my other go-to game.
And just one more, Lou Fowl for Colorado. He does have a dual threat ability against UMass And I mean, he has some really impressive game logs under there. UMass, I mean, that's going to be a lot of scoring, lots of short drives, lots of. I mean, it's going to be some good stuff there. I think Lufau, you can even consider him if you want another quarterback there.
Yeah, if you're playing on a site like DK, what would you think about maybe just stacking both quarterbacks?
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome to watch, man. Because like that'd be like fun to watch as well. Like seeing Lufau and Fronapple go at each other. I feel like they'll both have pretty high outputs. Yeah, I could dig that. Kind of similar to like the Western Kentucky game and La Tech game last night. I feel like it would kind of be like that.
Absolutely, we've had good success stacking games like that in college football. I've seen in the lobbies, I've seen a lot of people, with their Alabama avatars and their, whoever, and they'll play players from that school regardless of matchup, And I'm sporting my Hogs here, my Razorbacks. I love them. And go Razorbacks! I'm going to go to the game tomorrow, but for daily fantasy purposes, I like money better.
Yeah, it's true. All right, let's go to running back because I feel like we kind of just covered that. Let's go running back. I'll start off by saying I love Derrick Henry at 8,100. That's a really, really nice price. He absolutely destroyed Wisconsin. You would have to assume this is an inferior defense, middle Tennessee. He's probably going to blow him out. I think he gets 3 touchdowns before that happens. I think for sure he's getting 2 quarters. He might get lucky, go through the third a little bit, but I feel like he's just going to destroy Middle Tennessee. What are you feeling at running back?
I agree with you on Henry. I mean, the dude's a beast. Alabama's a beast. But the thing about it is, I'm here in SEC country. I hear a lot of SEC football talk all the time. Alabama, one of the top recruits from Arkansas went to Alabama at running back. They are just – and he was like the top running back in the nation last year as far as recruits go out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And
yeah.
He's like by the bottom on their depth chart list on ourlads.com. They are just loaded at running back. My only fear here is at 8,100, he only got 13 carries last week, which he still got 3 touchdowns in 13.
Yeah, that's what I feel like, man.
But my fear is here, he gets a quarter, maybe 2 quarters worth of work, and then he's out. So I would actually maybe on FanDuel, yeah, he's a great play, but on a site like DK, it might be a great idea to maybe play some of those backups there off of Alabama.
Like what is it, Kenyon Drake? And,
Drake.
Yeah,
a guy that I'm liking a lot as far as a source of value on both sites, but especially on DK is Scobb for Georgia Tech.
You took him, Scobb.
Yeah, man, Scobb. I like him a lot this week just because they're normal starter. They used to be a timeshare. They run a wishbone option, and I typically don't like to target option offenses for daily fantasy purposes. But they've got a cake matchup this week, and he's going to be getting the load, man. And as far as his price and the matchup, he's just a plug and play for me.
Yeah, I like the other guy, man. I like Marcus Marshall a little more, man. What's it called? Marshall had I believe it was like 8 carries, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like that's the running back I like more than Scobb. I feel like he's the one that's going to go off.
I like him too, but I read just on Twitter and words going around that Scobb's going to be starting. Have you heard otherwise?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's just what I've
For real. Well, then maybe that might change. But man, still, I mean, if that's the case, I'll probably have to go Scobb. But I just love that guy Marshall, man. I feel like I might roll him either way. I don't know, but if Scott's starting, I might have to do it. But the thing is with those wishbone, those option offenses, is that they're gonna run the ball like 60 times a game. They're gonna run the ball a lot, so you're gonna get a good amount of carries with your running back. I would assume, So
yeah, either way with Marshall or Scobb, you couldn't go wrong. I just like Scobb because of his price and the rumor that he's starting. So yeah. I'll double check Twitter, Saturday morning to make sure who's in there. But also,
and I guess
I kind of
too, man.
Yeah, man. As far as run heavy teams, they didn't perform so hot last week. But a Radcliffe for Louisville, I think they're gonna have to ride him. I believe their quarterback situation is kind of in jeopardy. Didn't their quarterback get hurt last week or something that I saw?
I mean, I can check real quick for you. Louisville.
I think so, man. And so I think they're just going to have to feed. They played Auburn last week. I'm not sure, but I know they're going to feed Radcliffe here. They're run heavy. Not an ideal matchup. They are going in to face
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. Houston had a great run defense last year. They lost a few of their seniors, so it's not the greatest of matchup. But this is a pure volume play here for me on Radcliffe.
Okay. Running back, I don't really have anyone else for a cheaper play. All I really had was I'm looking at Henry Elliott for my premier plays, and then like for the cheaper plays, Scov and Marshall were mine. Do you have one?
Yeah, whoever's starting for Wisconsin, their starter got hurt last week.
For real?
Yeah, I can't pronounce the guy's name. It's like I wrote it down here. I'm not even sure if I spelled it right.
Oh, was it Ogumbawa?
Yeah, Ogumbawawi or whatever.
Okay.
If he's starting for Wisconsin, they're another run-heavy team, and that's just a pure value. I get pricing this week on DK and Fanduel is totally opposite. Last week, Fanduel was a little bit more tight, whereas DK was loose, and it was easier to build squads on DK. But on Fanduel, it's a little bit easier this week. It's so tight on DK. And also, I kind of got to get on the soapbox here for a second. DK is not including the UMass Colorado game in the early slate. So
yeah, that's some BS, man.
These sites need to get their shit together and get their pricing kind of correlated and the games all on the same slates, because doing research, it's kind of a pain. It's almost like I have to do twice the research for both sites.
True. I don't want to take your play here, but this was your play. Your boy Abrakwa for Massachusetts. He's looking like some good value too.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, like I said, that game's going to be a high over-under, so stack them up.
Yeah. Oh, man, speaking of running back, just real quick, did you see what happened to Leon Allen last night?
Oh, that was great. I didn't see it live, but people have been tweeting out pictures, man. That was gross and dirty.
Oh, man, but his backup is like 5.5K, so that is the optimistic side if you have one.
Yeah. Beautiful thing about David Fantasy.
That's right. Oh, man. Anyways, okay, let's move to wide receiver. I'll go to my boy Carew against Washington State. Loving that matchup. I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game. Feel like they're going to have to come up and pass the ball. Carew, their number one receiver, man. I feel like he's going to have a great game. I have him stapled in everything right now. That's my boy right now, Carew. For Rutgers.
Yeah. I love him too, man. Didn't he? Wasn't he suspended for the first half last week and then came out in the? Yeah, came out and got like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. And so was his quarterback, was suspended for the first half last week too. And I think he only completed 3 or 4 passes, but they were all to Carew and for like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
they got a good connection going there, man.
Yeah, this is another game, like I said, on 2 QB sites like DK. If you wanted to stack up, Falk, Rutgers QB. And then pair them with, Carew and some of those Washington State receivers, which I'm liking a lot of those guys since we're talking about. There's like 3 of them there, and they're really all kind of site-specific for me. You got Craycraft.
Craycraft is the one that I like the most just because, like, last year, man, he was the dude last year with, what's his damn name? Connor Holiday, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Holiday was a beast. He's very athletic and fast.
Oh my God! Yeah, but continue. Sorry.
If you're on FanDuel, Craycraft is the play, man. He's super value, super cheap. I don't know if you got his salary. What is he, like 5.5K?
7K, man, in that offense.
Yeah, but you got Craycraft, G Marks, and D Williams. If you're on DK, I would probably rank them Marks, Williams, and then Craycraft. But on FanDuel, it would be the exact opposite, just based on pricing. And Washington State, like you said earlier when we were talking about Falk, they're going to come out and throw it 50, 60 times. Yeah, so pick 2 of them. If you're playing Washington State guys, pick 2 of them. FanDuel, Craycraft, Williams, DK, go Marks, just for the pure PPR. 1-point PPR there on DraftKings. Marks gets a lot of targets.
He does. Okay, so second wide receiver. I feel like we both have this dude when we showed each other our lineups. Taji Sharp, like this guy. I used him a lot last year too because UMass passed so much, and he is their number one dude. He is the number one target in that offense. I love it. His price isn't bad either. It was 6.9K, not bad. Against Colorado, this guy's just gonna. I feel like he's gonna have a great game. I have to have him in everything. I love Sharp.
I do too. He's probably my top wide receiver play right after your boy Carew on this early slate.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough when I'm building my rosters. Do I go Fro Naple, just to pair him with Sharp, or do I pay up with Falk because I'm going to have some Washington State wide receivers as well. In DK you can play two QBs and play them both. But going back to it, it's going to be mostly plays out of this UMass Colorado game and the Washington State Rutgers game. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to.
Yeah, that sounds like a winning formula right there.
The one outside of these two games, though, that I like, especially on FanDuel, is where'd he go? Treadwell. Ole Miss.
Oh, Treadwell, yeah, he's playing where I'm going to next year, Fresno State, and they're gonna destroy them.
Yeah, Ole Miss. Was it their coach Freeze? Hugh Freeze. Freeze likes to. He kind of runs, West Coast style offense. Sometimes they do no huddle. They come out and fling it a little up tempo. They'll really NFL pro style offense. Really, they'll throw a lot of screens and things out of the backfield. And what I saw last week, they were really just trying to get Treadwell the ball as many times as they could, whether it be on end arounds, screens in the backfield, or just over dink and dunking it down the field. So he's their offensive weapon. And he's going to be in most of my lineups come Saturday.
Yeah, man, and he plays Fresno State, man. And I can tell you, like Fresno State firsthand, like they are not they're just a typical team you can stack against, man. And Treadwell is like a number one wide receiver prospect for the NFL. This guy's a freaking monster, man. I think he'll have a great game. Really cheap too. When I saw his price, I was so surprised. I was like, wow. Yeah, I'm down with it, man. I love Treadwell, but
Fresno in the bottom 10 of fantasy points allowed to wide receivers.
That's fuck.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I actually like Darboh for Michigan, and I have extra cash, so I kind of have him in there. I like Darboh for Michigan. It looks like they only passed to him and Jake Butt. It looks like they only passed to those two guys. Who they played last week was it Utah? Like they were targeting him a lot. I believe he got 8 receptions and like 100 yards, and he got a lot of targets. So did Butt. I feel like those are the only 2 targets they really look for in that Michigan offense. I think because the other receivers are pretty damn young from what I was reading. So I like Darboh there. I feel like he can get a lot of heavy targets against Oregon State. Their defense doesn't scare me as much as Utah does. So I would feel confident about playing Darboh. I got nothing against him.
Yeah, I don't either. I like Darboh in that matchup as well. The only thing is you mentioned Butt, and that brings us to tight end. We saw in the NFL that Harbaugh, with Vernon Davis at the 49ers, Harbaugh likes to target his tight ends. And if you're spending up in the early slate at tight end, Butt's the play. He's the primo number 1 in my opinion. But there's another team out there who also loves to use their tight ends. And that's, I'm not sure if I can pronounce his name right, but it's Serene, maybe, from Wake Forest.
Okay, Syringe from Wake Forest, man. That guy was a beast last year.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And Wake Forest, they love their tight ends. He's a target monster. Their quarterback they seem to have a great chemistry. And I forgot who they're going against. Let's see, I forget who their opponent is this week, but I had them ranked among the bottom.
Syracuse.
Yeah,
or some French team.
Yeah, it is Syracuse. They're actually they're in the bottom 5 against defense versus tight ends, and just knowing the amount of targets he's going to get, and also his salary, he is minimum salary on FanDuel.
Okay, guys, you guys got to get that, man. That's too good. That's way too good.
Yeah, that's. I want to pay up for Butt. Butt's serene, man. Minimum salary. He's getting the points per dollar. There is just a no-brainer for me.
And just going back to wide receiver, we skipped over Thomas and Miller, man. How do we do that?
I don't know. I guess just maybe the matchup for him this week. It's not as ideal that I'm seeing, unless you're thinking.
I like Braxton, man. I feel like Braxton will pull out another spin move on Hawaii.
Yeah, He's in my DK lineup right now. His pricing on DraftKings is a little bit better, and plus you have that flex spot over on DK where I can plug him in, where I can play all those other wide receivers with you, the Washington State guys. I can get Sharp and Carew in there with a Braxton Miller on DraftKings, whereas on FanDuel, the pricing, I'd rather have a Carew and a Sharp and one of the Washington State guys over Braxton Miller, and that's simply because Ohio State's they're going to win this game probably by 40-plus points.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I could see Ohio State coach. I can see them leaving him in just because Braxton Miller taking one on the chin for the team and moving over to wide receiver. Then maybe him wanting to get him some spotlight because he was in Heisman contention before when he was their quarterback, and he could possibly be in Heisman contention again this year with what he showed last week at wide receiver. So going down good old narrative street here, man, I could see him wanting to leave him in and just let him ball out of control.
That'd be tight, man. That'd be awesome. And just one more tight end play just to get it out the way. Your boy Hunter Henry is always a good tight end play. He's pretty solid. Still 2.8K. Not bad. He's solid.
Love him. He's a beast for Arkansas. And they came out last week and surprised us. I know you were all over Collins last week.
Oh, my God. That pissed me off. I was like, what the what?
I know, man. As a Hogs fan, that came out of nowhere and shocked the hell out of me. And I was surprised and glad to see it. I think this week against Toledo, they kind of go the opposite direction. And you could probably see Hunter Henry and Alex Collins getting a little bit more action this week than Keon Hatcher.
Definitely, man. Fucking Keon Hatcher, man. Whatever. All right, let's move on to late slate. Let's try to get these out the way for the late slate.
I've got 2 games that I'm looking at targeting on the late slate so far, and that's the Oregon Michigan State.
Oh, okay.
The Tulsa New Mexico. We know Tulsa plays up tempo, and my top quarterback here is
that for DK?
Dane Evans.
Is that for TK? I mean DK?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, I didn't see New Mexico on there.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at the late slate on FanDuel yet, but yeah, on DK, Tulsa, New Mexico. Tulsa, we targeted them last week. They play at a high pace. Dane Evans, man, he's the man.
That guy's a beast, man.
We play on DK in the late slate.
Okay, so you got DK. I got FanDuel on here. I haven't looked at the DK slate, but for FanDuel, I'm targeting Oregon, Michigan State. I like UCLA and UNLV. I like that matchup. And then, but let's just talk about quarterback real quick. I like a couple guys. I like Tommy Armstrong Jr. He has that little dual threat thing going for him. He is more of a passer than he is, but than a rusher. But he can run if he needs to. Against South Alabama, that doesn't really scare me. I feel like Armstrong can put a pretty good licking on them. Second quarter, the other 2 I like is Prescott, because Prescott just keeps on finding a way to put up 30 points a game, and I'm not going to doubt it. If you look at his game log, it's just so consistent of him putting up around 30 points.
Go. He pissed me off quite a bit last year. Just being in SEC play, and Mississippi State is one of our rivals. Being an Arkansas fan, and he just dominated SEC play. He just was so consistent, man. And he's got a good price tag too for what he's going to put up.
Yeah, 8.9K. That's really good value. And then a third guy I like is Rosen against UNLV. This might be a blowout, so I'm a little iffy on it. But what's it called? It's in UNLV, so they do got the away factor going for them. Rosen, man, this guy can fling it, man. I saw him, man. He was just flinging it out there to all his targets, and a lot of his receiver targets are really cheap too. So I can dig Rosen there. Those are probably and then one more. Tanner Magnum for BYU, because he's a really good dual threat. Plays Boise, which I'm a little scared of because Boise shut down Washington. I want to hope that BYU is a little better than, hopefully a lot better than them. But Magnum, man, that guy, or Mangum, however you want to say it, dual threat, runs, passes. I really like that. He's essentially a cheaper Taysom Hill, so I can dig him.
Yeah, he's a producer, man. I'm with you on all of those. But you like taking on the UCLA freshman on the road?
Yeah, man, I might be with it, man. I like when we get to running back. I mean, I'll get to who I really like, but I could dig Rosen, man. It looked like he looked pretty chill there. I mean, it might scare him over there in UCLA or something, but I mean, it's UCL. I mean, UNLV. My bad. It's UNLV. They're not a really tough team, so we'll see.
He's got a great matchup. They are in bottom of the country of defense versus quarterback. So,
go. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I like that play. He showed, like you said, he could fling it last week. But what about your boy from Penn State, Hackenberg? You're not on him?
I'm done with this dude, man. I so trash. What did he get, like -2 points last week? What the?
I told you that I like him. You know, he's a good player. That offense is just so boring for me. It's just
man, they just suck. And speaking of disappointing quarterbacks, just real quick, one more quarterback that I would consider like a GPP play. Like, I never say things are GPP plays because I just play things regardless. But Swoops for Texas, just because he has that high upside, he plays Rice. He's at home. I dig that. He another dual threat guy playing Rice in Texas. I would hope that he would have a good game.
Yeah, that's a good play. And now that I think you've talked me into some Rosen here, man, because I'm looking at this now and I'm showing UNLV is bottom 6 in the country versus quarterbacks.
I'm cooler in there, bro.
So yeah, that's you got me. I'm all in on the Rosen. What about running backs? I got a few running backs here on the late slate, man. I'm really, going back to that Oregon-Michigan State game, a guy I played a lot last week is Madrid London for Michigan State. I love the guy, man. He's as he goes, Michigan State goes. Yeah. They're going to look to get him going early and often. One of my favorite NFL running backs to watch is Le'Veon Bell. And
man, that's my boy. You see they got a Steeler banner. Oh, you can't see it, but
yeah, that's my boy too. I have him in my year-long league. I love him. He's a different style of runner than Le'Veon Bell, but definitely he's their workhorse. They want to get him involved. Like I said, as he goes, Michigan State goes. So I have him locked and loaded at running back on the late slate.
Let me give you guys the premier play on FanDuel, the play that's going to get you 35 points, and I'm going to guarantee it. Okay, I probably shouldn't guarantee it, but I'm gonna guarantee 30 points out of this play. Howard for Indiana. This guy look at his carry numbers. They're ridiculous. He's almost getting 35 carries a game. Playing Florida International at 8,400. This guy's ridiculously, like, everything's going for him. I love this play. He's in every single lineup on FanDuel for me. And, I'm sticking him in everything, dude. I think he's going to destroy Florida International by himself.
That's good, man, because he wasn't even on my radar. So I'm glad you brought that up. Florida International, they're terrible against the running back, the running game. I have a guarantee. Are you ready? You got your pen and paper out? You want to write this down?
Hey, you know what? I'm ready for it, though. I'll remember it.
I have another guarantee. I can see this guy getting about 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that's one Paul Perkins.
Oh, you took my play. All right, go.
So maybe there's be some merit here to plugging in Perkins and Howard and just forgetting about it.
60 points, bro. You're gonna get 60 out of each, man. No, but man, let's talk about UNLV real quick. They got tore up by some trash-ass running back that Northern Illinois had. They were giving up so many freaking – I was watching the game because I had Drew Hare. And that running back, like, he's nothing special, man. That guy was just tearing them up. Yeah, Perkins and Howard Perkins is way better. He's a premier talent, going to destroy UNLV. And he's like you said, Rosen might be on the road. They might want to just feed Perkins a little more, man.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of my thinking to it, and in daily fantasy, college football, NFL, there's a lot of merit to pairing your quarterback up with, the wide receiver or running back, because if they hit that screen pass for a touchdown, then that's double points right there. So,
and that happens so often in the college game and those screens.
Absolutely. So I think we might be on to something here.
I got two more plays here. Fournay for LSU because it looks like he's tearing shit up. Michigan State a little tough though. So Mississippi State. Sorry about that. Mississippi State a little tough. But man, this guy looks like he's getting a lot of carries. Looks like he's the lead back for LSU. I really like him. And then one more. And you played this guy last week. Your boy McNichols or McNichol. I don't know how you say it against BYU. Still really cheap. 6.6K. I feel like he can have a good game. It looks like he's their whole offense, man.
Yeah, he is, and like you said, against BYU, they're nothing to be afraid of. So, McNichols is a good play. I really like Perkins and Howard here, man.
Yeah, same, man. I got him in everything, bro. Just cheaper players, like if you guys want to do something else. But wide receiver is a little tricky here. But I'll talk about like the UCLA core, which I really like a lot, and the one the one I like a lot, which is the cheapest one surprisingly, is Fuller. He got a lot of the targets from Rosen. I think he got the most receptions too. He even got a touchdown in there. I feel like he can have a really good game. Yeah, he's probably my. I mean, I'm starting off with a cheap play, but I really like him from UCLA. But they do got a lot of targets there. But it looks like he was the one they were most comfortable with.
Yeah, and with the freshman quarterback on the road, that's a great play there because if he's already established a rapport with him and comfortable with him, he's just going to go back to the well there. One guy I like here, and I played him last week, and I might have to do it again, just because I know Tulsa, and I guess this is strictly a DK play since the Tulsa game's not on FanDuel, but Kevon Lucas, man, he's a beast.
That guy's a fucking monster, man.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I wish these sites would get together and get both of these games, all these games on the same slate because it's stupid that I have to write down, two separate sheets of notes, one for DK, one for FanDuel. But Kevon Lucas will be on my and here's a value play is S Mitchell. Yeah, I forgot. Let me hold on. You have FanDuel up there? Can you?
Oh, USC. Yeah.
USC. Yeah, he's out of all the USC receivers, he's the only one that they actually feel comfortable going to. Yeah, I think he's min price, and that's strictly a DK play to me as well, just because he's almost min salary over there, and at points per reception. Last week he got what? Again, FanDuel's down and broken for me. That's what I usually use for target references. But last week I think he got like 13 targets. So.
I actually like the other USC receiver, Juju Smith. He is the top option. The highest priced. I like him a lot just because I feel like he's gonna blow the top off Idaho and just get a quick 70-yard touchdown and a couple more receptions, hit some value, and then leave the game. Like I think he'll have a really good game.
Yeah, I like him. I like him on FanDuel. It's just like I said, Mitchell is a strictly DK only play just because pricing over there is crazy. I don't know if you've even pulled it up or looked at it, but all the good quarterbacks you want to play are like 10K.
Yeah.
Running backs, wide receivers that you want to play are like 8, 9K. So in order to fit, one or two of those guys in, you're going to have to reach for a 3K crapper. And actually, Mitchell isn't that bad, like you said, against Idaho. Cake defense, cake matchup. USC is going to put up a lot of points. And before they do it, they also like to throw the ball. So they're not just run heavy. So,
I was gonna say Desmond Epps maybe, but he just got caught stealing something. So, yeah, he did. And he was a target machine for that team. So I really wouldn't mind doing that.
I'm crossing him off my list right now.
he got caught for stealing something on campus. I was like, bro, come on, man, I need you this week.
Oh my gosh, these guys are idiots.
Yeah, but I would actually look at some Oregon receivers just because Michigan State was getting torched to the air against Western Michigan, surprisingly, man. So I would actually consider some Oregon receivers. I'm not too familiar with them. The game wasn't on the slate for FanDuel last week, so I'm not too familiar with them. But they got this guy Nelson. They have Byron Marshall's pretty familiar. I would probably maybe roll him. Addison's another one. I just don't know which one to go with, but I would maybe target an Oregon receiver, one of the cheaper end ones for to make up for all that quarterback and running back space.
Yeah, that's a great idea, especially with that game being one of the highest over-unders of the night. I would probably, I don't know, with you say Marshall?
Marshall 6.2K. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite out of all of those, man, just because decent production, decent price, But speaking of price, that moves me on to my only tight end play of the late.
Yeah, Josiah Price.
Yeah, Josiah Price. He's like I don't have any other notes on any other tight end except he's just utilized in that pass heavy pro style offense there. He's the man on the late slate.
Yeah, I got him too, man. And one more thing on wide receiver, Cincinnati versus Temple. Just because Cincinnati's up tempo spread. I would consider maybe one of the cheaper guys like Washington, Melvin McKay. Man, was it Chris Moore? I think is the other one. I would consider maybe one of those guys. I know Temple just tore up Penn State, but I mean it's a totally different team. Cincinnati passes the ball a lot with Gunnar Kale. They're up tempo spread. They're going to be passing the ball a lot. So I always love targeting offense like that. If I can find their number one target, I'm not sure which one it is because it looks like they spread the ball a lot. But if you want to take a chance on one, I like McKay, Shaq Washington. And maybe more. Those are probably the only ones I'd like from that team. But that's just another game you could probably get.
Yeah, I like McKay, but I would actually be maybe wanted to target the other side of the ball on this one, just because since, like you said, Cincinnati comes out and throws it and plays fast pace, and I think they are a better team than Temple. Temple's defense isn't that great, but they're not that bad either. So Temple's probably going to be playing from behind in this one. And what I'm showing right now. Cincinnati is bottom 4 in the national ranked defense versus wide receiver. They allow.
Okay. Also, this guy Bryant, Ventel Bryant would probably be.
Yeah, Ventel Bryant, man. He's the number one. Cincinnati's allowing 42 plus points per game to the wide receiver position. So, like you said, this game's going to be fast paced, a lot of passing. So Temple's going to have to keep up with Cincinnati. So if I was going to take anybody to that game, especially for value, it's going to be in the Temple side of the ball. And Ventel Bryant, or another one, Raymond Deloach as well.
Raymond, let me check him out. Deloach. Oh yeah, I see 4.5K, not bad.
Yeah, 4.5K as a men's sal. Maybe not a Fanduel play, since there is a lot of other value at wide receiver on Fanduel, but definitely. One of these guys from Temple could help you open up things on DK. Yeah. So
definitely, man. And one more thing. Duarte is the last UCLA receiver I like. He's really cheap, 5.2K. Caught a touchdown last week, and I feel like he could do something. So I got Duarte in there, and he's 5.2K. Lets you open up some salary there. But I think and Boyd. How do we forget about Boyd from UNLV? He's for sure going to get a lot of targets. Yeah,
he's it. He's all they got.
All they got, man. That guy's a freaking monster. And he's still cheap, 5.5K. I don't, they play UCLA. It's a tough matchup, but man, he's just a really good player. So Boyd is still on my radar. I will consider playing him. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, but
they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing from behind, so they're going to be chasing UCLA. So
yeah, for sure.
Might be some merit to that.
All right, man. I think that's it, man. I don't think we got anything else to talk about.
Yeah, tight end, just plug in Price. Late slate, target Oregon, Michigan State. If you're on DK, Tulsa, New Mexico. Also UCLA and UNLV. So other than that, man, yeah, it looks like we're both kind of on the same page as far as some of our plays. But you open my eyes up to a couple, man.
Yeah, I know. You would definitely open up my eyes too, man. I was gonna say, where can people follow you? And stuff like that. Oh
yeah, if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at DFS_WizP. So you can find me on there, and Team Wiz website will be up and running soon. So I'll tweet that link out as well. And we did an NFL podcast last night as well. So if you guys haven't caught that, make sure to go catch that. Me and DFS_Wiz Kyle did that together, and go check that out. Your bankrolls will thank you.
That's true. Yeah, guys, check them out, man. They know what they're talking about. If you guys want to see some NFL content, check them out. I'm pretty sure he has it retweeted onto his Twitter pretty recently, so you guys can check it out on there. And if you guys want to follow me at @CGonzalez_16 on Twitter. And that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you for watching this. I really want to thank Patrick for coming on here. And that's pretty much it. So.
It's my pleasure. I enjoyed it. Having fun. Maybe we can do it again next week, brother.
Yeah, man, sounds good. I'm down.
All right. Have a good one, man. We'll see you later.
You too.